Whereas you still look like you participate in on the enjoyment level, on the tactical level, and the because you're an active part of the coverage of football these days. So how has it evolved as you've kind of incorporated more of those things into what you do, or what you choose? Because again, some of this stuff you actively choose to do. It's not a job. It's stuff you do for fun.
I wonder, like, maybe it's got maybe more mainstream. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't think football was, because it's a different kind of fandom in the 80s, I think. I mean, I was born in 85, so I didn't really see any of that. But then everything is more professional and expensive in an increasingly globalized world. Everything becomes bigger and more, and well, more American actually is what a lot of it's become. So like Aberdeen are trying to change a lot to be like how American sports work, which I think is actually quite a good thing, because then it's more for families. It's more for, sure enough, making money, but it's more about providing for other things than just the product on the pitch, which is just that football game, which is now a little bit like theatre. It's so expensive to go to, but theatre, you know what's going to happen. Well, you don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be the same performance every single time. And they've written that, structured it in such a way that it is dramatic and brings you in. Whereas football, you don't know what you're going to get. You might get Brentford 1, Leicester 1, and nothing happens the entire game. Or you might end up seeing a cup final where you win in the 90+2. Well, I mean, the World Cup final was one of the best things you could ever possibly watch. Like this last one, Argentina-France. It was just perfect to watch. And I mean, like, the coverage of it has changed. So that's maybe interesting in it. And I think pundits never used to say the things that I thought I saw with it. And I always thought, especially growing up in Scotland, where when you play 11-a-side and you don't get the ball enough because it gets pumped over your head all the time if you're playing midfield, then like, what's the point? How come these kids are doing that when in like abroad they're going to be doing things with the ball all the time? And the differences in like geography and where different countries play in different ways. How come different players play in different ways? The artistry of it. Everyone is very different and individual, unique. In the same way someone would have a set style of painting, you'll get someone like Bernardo Silva is a very different player to like Neil Ruddock. You know, they're different. They're opposites of the same game. They're both within the same parameters and they bounce off it, but they do different things. And so you'll get things that you possibly couldn't create. And then the idea, the professionalism that is necessary to get to that top level of elite football is incredible. And watching these absolute machines, these athletes do all this thing on a pitch you could never really do. I mean, all of that is exciting, isn't it? Is that not what makes it fun?